great physical shape now.
So this was done on purpose for the swim team, not because of chemotherapy.
No,
Want to point that out.
it has nothing to do with that.
So you're feeling good?
Yeah, I feel great.
When you weren't feeling good, though, 2 years ago when you were ill, what inspired you to invent this game?
Well, when I went into the hospital at first, there was nothing for me to relate to. They told me I had cancer. I didn't know what to think of that. And then I thought one time when I was in for a 5-day treatment, when she came into the room, that if we developed something that gave the signs of cancer and stuff, that we would do better relating to it when we first come in the hospital.
Because there are so many different questions. I think we actually have a photo of the original board game that you all came up with. Now that's how it actually looked. And Cheryl, what did this help these young parents, these young children handle?
It's really helped them to talk about what they were going through. Excuse me. When children are diagnosed with cancer, I mean, there's a whole new world of terminology and everything. And so much is emphasized on the physiological treatment of cancer, but not a whole lot on the psychological and emotional impact.
All right, how does this work then to help in that way?
Okay, well, as the cards are designed, you go forward or backward a number of spaces depending on what the thing is. Like, there's cards that mention you lose your hair, which is one of the major things. Go back 4 spaces. And you try to get through the whole board, and of course your goal is to get to remission, which like she can talk about, because it's not only to get to remission on the board, it's to help get the feelings out as you're going along.
All right, for instance, this is a positive card. The doctor takes the time to really listen. That must be an important one.
Very important. Sometimes the children feel like they're talking and expressing feelings to the doctors, and they're not hearing them.
How important is that for you?
That's very important, because the doctors are really hard to understand when they come in. Their terminology is really hard to understand, and if they really listen to what you have to say, sometimes they'll change their mind about things and do things that are easier on you.
Now here's another one. You make a great bald joke. Do you guys practice them so that, because otherwise you go back out into regular school and you encounter people that...
Well, there's a whole bunch of people that don't understand it, and so naturally they stare. And if you just make fun of it, it's just an easy way to look at it. None of us were really embarrassed about our heads. We all took it in stride.
Sometimes it's up to you to make other people feel comfortable, right? Here's a bad one. Here's a negative one. Nurse wakes you up in the middle of the night to take your temperature.
That's a very common one if you ask any kid in the hospital. They're in every hour to take your blood pressure and stuff, and it always seems like it's right when you get to bed.
Here's one. You get stared at by rude people.
That's a very common one, too. Everywhere you go.
But this is something now, Cheryl, this is probably so important because it allows all of them to talk about this.
Exactly. They can come together and share a common experience. And I can't understand as a caregiver. I can be supportive to these kids, but I don't know what they're going through.
Are you amazed now to see? I mean, these are things you deal with every day, and
right.
you've got to hear this, and you've got to try to,
right.
be empathetic.
I can try to be, but I can't know.
But you can't make happen what happens when all the young people get around and do this.
Exactly.
Here's another patient dies, and that's got to be really tough too.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate, because 5 of the kids that designed this game also have died since the time we designed it.
You talk your doctor into letting you postpone hospitalization until after the prom. It's like one little step along the way, and yet it could mean so much to living a normal life, right?
Definitely.
Chance to be a regular kid.
That's a big part of it. If I didn't feel comfortable around my friends, and if I didn't go out, the disease would have been much worse to deal with. But it's made easier by being able to go out like that.
And another one, let's see, someone talks to you and holds your hand during tough procedures. Hopefully the medical profession will also hear a lot of this game, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think it'll help the doctors as well as parents that don't realize what their kids are going through.
See, now that's something that we haven't really touched on. I mean, your parents, you have to remember, are entering into this at the same time you are, not knowing anything. These questions are also tough for us.
Oh, I know. Definitely.
So do you like to see the parents play this game too, I would imagine?
The parents, it's wonderful for them to see this and actually relate themselves, because they're feeling a lot of anxiety and fear too.
I'm told that when you first started doing this that you used, what, syringes
and pill bottles and stuff like that.
Well, but now it's a real game, and we also, though, want to point out that we have photos of the other children who contributed to this game. They include Michael Gray and Matthew Tullis, who I should say are currently doing well.
Right.
All right, and also we have 5 of the children who have since died whose parents are watching this morning, and we'd like to give a special tribute to Todd Seitz, Terry Morris, Laura Jo Mounsey, John Lamb, and Shelby Lieb. You leave a contribution that will help others, and we thank you both.
Thank you.
And Good Morning America will continue.